Coming up, spring semester is just a few months away, so will we be coming back to campus? We've got the latest.
Day off for mental health sounds good, right? Well, some students say it's not.
UNC is part of the Chapel Hill community, and to help students be good neighbors, folks have teamed up for an important initiative.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Molly Cummings.
And I'm Gray Hurley. We're going to start with a story that's been on everyone's mind. What's the plan for the spring semester? Will we stay remote or be allowed to come back to campus? The Chancellor has asked for input from the Carolina community. So are we any closer to a decision? Joining us live with the latest on spring semester plans is reporter Jacob Messer. Jacob, what can you tell us?
Well, Gray, we thought we would have an answer last week, but that didn't quite happen. So here's what we do know. Chancellor Guskowitz told the Board of Trustees last week that he hopes to have in-person classes in the spring in some capacity. The administration was also considering delaying the start of the semester by 1 or 2 weeks. The original start date was supposed to be January 6th. The Campus and Community Advisory Committee met yesterday and is recommending a January 19th start date for the semester. Nothing is official yet, and there's no timeline for an announcement. Back to you, Gray.
Jacob Messer, live from Chapel Hill. Thanks, Jacob.
A recent survey of college students found that 75% are feeling anxiety or stress, and UNC wants to give students a break. Saturday is World Mental Health Day, and in observance of the event, university leaders are asking professors to pause all live classes on Friday. But some students say they feel the one-day break is insincere.
If I'm being entirely honest, it feels a little performative. To sum it up, there's really no other way of looking at it. We, as students, have been pressuring them to give us a mental health break, and it kind of just feels like they stuck a Band-Aid on a problem.
As a gesture to faculty and staff, the university has also asked that no meetings be held this Friday.
If you haven't registered to vote, time is running out. Friday is the deadline for the 2020 general election. If you miss the deadline, you can register and vote on the same day during the early voting period. Early voting will run from October 15th through October 31st. Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd.
Carolina Association of Black Journalists and UNC's new National Association of Hispanic Journalists chapter are teaming up for the first time. With a goal of diversity in media and journalism, both organizations put on a variety of professional development events to prepare their members for their careers. The latest is a joint Scoring the Internship event featuring Wall Street Journal internship head Andres Martinez and Bloomberg Business and UNC alum Donnie Holloway. Organizers say collaboration is only the first step in a bigger mission to diversify journalism as a whole.
Increasing diversity, especially during this time, with all the, attention that's being brought to, diversity issues and issues around, systemic workplace, racial systems that, bar certain groups out from getting opportunities compared to our white counterparts. One is very important.
Students can join NAHJ and CABJ via Zoom tonight at 7 p.m. You can find more information on the CABJ or NAHJ Instagram page.
It's the announcement many have been waiting for. Bars are finally reopening. In Governor Cooper's most recent coronavirus update, he announced that the state would move to Phase 3. This allows bars to reopen. There's a catch though. Customers can only drink outside the bar, and that outdoor space can only be up to 30% capacity.
The Ackland Art Museum has just received a grant for a very special program. The National Endowment for the Arts Big Read Initiative gave the museum funding to highlight LGBTQ+ perspectives in its virtual community reading programs. Ackland will focus on the poetry collection by Stephanie Burt called Advice from the Lights. You can register for the reading program at the museum's website.
Our beloved mascot, Ramses, is hanging up his horns and heading into retirement. A new sheep, whose name is currently Otis, is taking on the official title of Ramses. He will be the 22nd Ramses in our school's history. Right now, his caretakers are getting him used to human interaction, so he'll be ready for the next in-person game day. Ramses the 21st will be retiring on a farm, where he will be given all of the vet care and food that he wants.
Ramses is one of the many excited fans who will be ready for the weekend of Carolina sports. And here to preview the weekend ahead is sports anchor Kennedy Bird. Kennedy?
This Saturday's football game will feature a new addition to Kenan Stadium, fans, and more specifically, students. Starting on Saturday, students will be allowed in Kenan Stadium for home games. Some tickets will also be available for the families of players and Rams Club members. If you didn't sign up for the lottery this week, make sure to sign up for the next home game. You don't want to miss the big game against NC State. The women's soccer match against Virginia scheduled for Thursday has been canceled, according to ESPN. The game has been canceled due to team depletion from COVID-19 and injuries. It is yet to be announced if the game will be rescheduled. While the coronavirus pandemic has disrupted the fall semester, it hasn't prevented one student-led group from growing and expanding. Marissa Rawald has the story.
Uncut is a student-led nonprofit that serves as a platform for student athletes to tell their personal, authentic stories. Uncut co-founder Luke Buxton believes it's important for athletes to be portrayed as human and not just a number out on the field.
We kind of give this hyper-focus, hyper-attention to student athletes, mostly like football and basketball players at UNC. But in reality, that's kind of all we see. There's only one phase.
Buxton and Uncut have created a wide range of content to show athletes different faces beyond their sport. Some of their articles, podcasts, and videos have examined mental health, defying racial stereotypes, and overcoming season-ending injuries.
It's all about how do we create, something that will propel athletes to come forward and inspires them to come share or talk about these issues openly.
Despite the setbacks of the pandemic, Uncut has managed to expand to Appalachian State and even UNC's in-state rival, Duke. Uncut Duke co-founder Daniela Schneider says the merge has put the rivalry on the sideline for a greater good, to humanize athletes.
Yes! I saw a really huge opportunity to kind of put the rivalry aside and bring together two of the biggest rivals in college sports and do something really big for our athletes.
Duke launched Uncut last month, releasing 3 articles and 1 video. The first article, written by men's lacrosse player Nakai Montgomery, highlighted Montgomery's family and community that helped him achieve success on and off the field. Duke and UNC have set aside their rivalry to support Uncut's mission of giving college athletes a voice beyond sports. I'm Marissa Rawald, reporting.
That's all for sports. Gray, Molly, back to you.
In a time of social distancing, the community is needed more than ever.
But it can be hard to know how to be a good neighbor when you're stuck inside. Reporter Jasmine Bunch has the story of how the Good Neighbor Initiative is helping to solve this.
The Good Neighbor Initiative was founded in 2004 as a partnership between UNC, the towns of Carborough and Chapel Hill, and other community partners. It started with Chapel Hill PD making door-to-door visits to off-campus students, informing them of local laws and ordinances.
You wouldn't want neighbors like these.
It has since expanded to include several new neighborhoods, partners, and volunteers who participate in the door-to-door walk and host a community cookout. But with the onset of COVID, the initiative has had to adjust for safety reasons.
Obviously, those two things were really just not prudent to do this year in the COVID environment. And so the transition has really been to try to take the focus off of just 2 events and make it more of a sort of multi-week, at this point, multi-month campaign.
The annual door-to-door welcome has now been replaced with signage reminding residents of COVID precautions. And in addition to the traditional Good Neighbor initiatives like parking, trash, and noise, public health has now become the forefront of their initiative. COVID has reminded us of how it's especially important to be mindful of your neighbor. In Chapel Hill, Jasmine Bunch, Carolina Week.
What an encouraging story about neighbors helping neighbors, and I think it's great for the Chapel Hill community, Gray.
I agree, Molly. It's always great to see the community coming together, and especially in times like this. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching.